Welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Happy to have you along. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. Want to find out more information about those companies you heard and all their coupon availability? You can find them at our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, underneath the Money tab for coupon codes and the Season 10 tab for all sponsors. We are going to talk about understanding fertilizer. Now, we've always been told in the organic realm, organic fertilizer good, chemical fertilizer bad. Keep them apart. Don't use either or the other, and your garden's going to be happy and healthy. Not necessarily true.
No, and this is something that I also believed for a long time. And after doing some research, and we actually had a guest, was it last year? I can't remember.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, who spoke on this as well, and he's written several books about it. So just to understand the difference between chemical or synthetic, whatever you want to call it, versus organic, is chemical is synthetic, which means man-made, and then organic is essentially from the earth. So that could include like compost, manure, kelp. You could even consider something like bone meal, blood meal. It's basically anything that's from the earth. So a lot of times we're going to kind of reference nitrogen here, but this can apply to any sort of NPK situation. NPK is the three main components of fertilizer. N is the nitrogen, P is the phosphorus, and K is the potassium. So just kind of a breakdown there in case, and you always see those numbers on fertilizer bags. If you're new to gardening, new to fertilizing, you're like, what is 10, 5, 8 or whatever? It's the NPK, so it's the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. But we're not going to get into the depths of that. We're going to talk about the difference between the chemical and organic, and how that can impact your garden, or how it might not make a difference. So people are, often told that chemical fertilizer is best, especially for vegetables, but that's not exactly true. The big important thing, and I'm going to say this again, is to make sure you're following the directions of the application. So don't think, okay, if 1 cup per square yard is good, 2 cups is better.
Right.
One, because in organic, you can burn your plants, and then also, or you could just waste money.
Right.
Yeah.
In both situations.
Right.
Robert Pavil, Pavil, I think I'm saying that incorrectly. Pavli is the...
Pavil.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is the individual.
Yeah.
He also said that putting tums underneath your tomato plant for blossom end rot does work, but you need 80 tums to have per plant to have the correct amount of calcium for the uptake when you just really need to water. But that's a side note.
I wonder if plants like the fruity tums.
I don't think it's irrelevant because it's not effective. Back with the understanding the fertilizer process here.
All right. So basically, you want to make sure you are following the application rates. So the chemical fertilizer, when you sprinkle it on your plants, the way it works is any sort of fertilizer, they're usually granular, but there's liquid fertilizer, but you're sprinkling it on the plants, you're watering it in. What happens is in chemical fertilizers, it feeds the microbes and then it feeds the plants. Pretty simple. Most chemical fertilizers are granular, and that's what happens. Organic fertilizer can be anything from, again, manure, compost, kelp, etc. A lot of times it's a little bit of a slower process. So chemical typically does work faster. Organic, if you are just using like maybe your own homemade compost, it might take longer because the microbes may have to break down things further. Say you're putting your own compost in and the banana peels aren't broken down all the way. It's going to take a little bit longer for those microbes to break it down. It's
going to break down the material and then break it down to a usable form for the plants.
Yeah. So if that is the point, if that is the process, once they are broken down, then they are going to feed the plants. So if you are using maybe a granular organic fertilizer, that's going to work faster than compost, whatever.
And liquid fertilizer is going to work even quicker because liquid is in the form of the uptake in which the plant can utilize right away than a granular. And with the liquid, organic or inorganic, it's a dilution. You got to dilute it to a certain ratio per gallon or X amount of gallons. And in synthetic fertilizers, the application may need to be applied more frequently than in the organic method.
So, scientifically speaking, when you're looking at the chemical elements, you think about the periodic table of elements. When it comes to organic versus inorganic or synthetic, whatever you want to call it, the nutrients are the same scientific makeup. So, nitrogen is nitrogen. Mm-hmm. Phosphorus is phosphorus, potassium is potassium. So there's no difference there. So those plants are getting the same nutrients, they're just getting it a different way. It's kind of like
the origins of that nutrients is coming from a different means, but the end result is still the end result, regardless of which way you go with it.
It's kind of like, like everybody's all about drinking electrolytes these days. Uh-huh. It's kind of like whatever brand, right? Like you might drink X brand, I'm going to drink Y brand. We're still getting. When
you break it down to the rawest form, there's still 75 electrolytes in both bottles in the same fluid ounces.
Or maybe you're just adding salt to your water. Right. Whatever. So.
And that's one of the big keys is salt.
Right. Yeah. Right. So fertilizer is fertilizer. Basically, it is food for microbes. Nitrogen is one of the main foods out there, especially when it comes to large scale agriculture. There's a lot of nitrogen that is being applied to the crops. So,
well, you look at corn. Corn is an extremely heavy feeder, whether in big ag industry or backyard gardening. The nitrogen amount is tremendous because you've got to get that plant to grow all the way 5, 6, 7, 8 foot tall, put on all the green foliage, and then it starts developing the ear. In lawn care, the fertilizers are like 90-0-0. It's all nitrogen because you're wanting that green to make it look pretty.
Exactly. So there's been a number of studies done within the past 5 to 10 years. So not like super old, but in the past 5 to 10 years, where on larger scale agricultural, so actual farm crops, that there's no significant difference in chemical versus organic. And even when it comes to the bacteria or the fungi that grows the things that break down those microbes that break down the chemicals, there's no large significant difference either. But there is one difference, is that when you use the synthetic fertilizer, it'll cause, and this is not a difference in how the plants get their nutrients, but it is a difference in how it applies. So synthetic fertilizer will cause a spike of microproduction, and then it'll even out. But there is no harm to the plants or microbes in that process. So synthetic fertilizer gives it a boost, but then eventually
balances back
out. Organic fertilizer is more of like a marathon.
Trickle.
Yeah.
So, is there one better than the other? Is there a long-term environmental disadvantage to using a synthetic fertilizer versus a chemical fertilizer?
So long-term, no, there is not a large impact. But the way I look at it is that I will forever, ever, ever be an organic vegetable gardener because I think about things like the soil. I also think about things like possible runoff, erosion, things like that. Not saying that synthetic fertilizer causes more erosion or anything like that, but I think to myself, what is my long-term impact? Am I feeding the soil, or am I feeding the plants the microbes?
Well, you look at the long-term effect in the big ag industry, and this is more towards the glyphosate rather than the synthetic fertilizers, is the dead zone at the Gulf of New Mexico or Gulf of America, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Because there's hundreds and thousands of acres of all of that glyphosate and chemicals that have flushed down there that has killed all that vegetation. Now, that's not directly related to, that's synthetic fertilizer versus organic fertilizer. That's a different realm, but the long-term effect is still the same.
But the nitrogen,
right? There's a lot of nitrogen there.
Yeah, which is part of the impact.
And that also algae bloom in lakes and streams. Lake Michigan always has a big algae bloom issue every couple of years that really impacts the aquatic life, and that's due to the runoff of that nitrogen.
Right.
And you can do the same bad with organic nitrogen as you can chemical nitrogen or inorganic nitrogen if you apply it incorrectly.
Correct.
Oh, let's just dump the whole bag. Well, now you're using just as much and doing just as a negative effect.
Right. But for me, I also think about like my footprint essentially. If I am creating my own fertilizer, whether it be compost, basically is what I would be using. Yeah. You have access to your own fertilizer. Why go out and buy some?
Right.
If it's not needed. Now, learning this, I do grow flowers, and I'm thinking, since I do grow flowers, I could use the synthetic,
right?
Because it might help me have nicer flowers.
Because you're not going to eat the flowers, you're looking them for self pleasure.
And this is in a small scale. I grow them in containers,
right?
So maybe if it provides me some bigger, prettier flowers in my little containers.
And you follow the applicational rate as the company has instructed, and don't go bonkers and I'm just going to keep pouring it on. The long-term effect will be very minimal because there's not going to be the overabundance of runoff.
Right.
So
that's a thought as well.
Well, another thought you can have is keeping the dirt and the garden outside, or the dirt from your hunting camp outside, whether you're at a cabin, your garage, your house, or your shed.
Yes, Crusher has exactly what you need. It's a durable outdoor shoe cleaner, a shoe brush station that is built with weather-resistant steel frame and black UV powder coat finish for year-round outdoor use. It's easy to use with just a few passes through of your boot, shoe, whatever. It can easily...
Kids have fun doing it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can remove dirt, mud, slush. These days, it seems like it's road salt. And its user-friendly design ensures trouble-free cleaning, saving you time and effort. They have many different designs, whether it be deluxe, heavy-duty, etc. You can go to scrusher.com and you can use code NOMOREDIRT5 to save 5% off and free shipping at checkout.
And they're made in America.